Have you ever felt like two voices inside you are fighting over a decision? One moment you're determined to stick to a goal, and the next your hand reaches for something you promised yourself to avoid. Why does one part of us crave instant gratification while another part knows it's not the best choice? We often say, "My heart says yes, but my mind says no," or feel torn between our body, soul, mind, and heart. This internal tug of war is a universal human experience. In this video, we will explore the fascinating battle that goes on inside all of us. How do our body's instincts, the passions of our heart, the reasoning of our mind, and the ideals of our soul each try to steer our decisions and behavior? The body, mind, heart, and soul. Who are they? To understand our internal conflicts, we first need to know the players on the inside. When we talk about the body, mind, heart, and soul as if they are separate, it is just a way to describe different aspects of one person. You. Here is a quick intro to each. Our physical or material body. This represents our physical needs and instincts. It craves comfort, food, sleep, sex, basically, survival and pleasure. The body wants to avoid pain and seek pleasure. It's the part of you that might say, "I am too tired to exercise," or "I need that chocolate now." Our heart. This is a metaphor for our emotions and desires. It's the source of feelings like love, anger, fear, and joy. Your heart might urge you to pursue a passion or fall in love, even if it defies logic. It cares about how things feel right now. Our mind. This is our rational thinking self, the voice of logic, planning, and analysis. The mind weighs pros and cons and considers consequences. It often acts like a guide, or even a disciplinarian. Is this really a good idea? Neuroscience links this rational function to the brain's frontal lobes, which handle reasoning and self-control. If you've ever held yourself back from an impulse, that is your mind doing its job. Our soul or spirit? By soul, we mean our conscience and sense of higher purpose. It's the part that seeks meaning, morality, and connection beyond just material things. You might think of it as your inner voice asking, "Is this right? What is my purpose?" Many spiritual traditions see the soul as our true essence or moral compass. In a perfect world, these four parts would work in harmony. But in reality, they often conflict. Your body might want something that your mind disagrees with, or your heart might desire something that your soul questions. This internal friction is the root of many difficult choices in life. This idea of internal conflict is not new. Over 2,000 years ago, the philosopher Plato suggested that the human soul has multiple parts. One for reason, one for spirit, will and emotion, and one for appetite, desires. He likened reason to a charioteer trying to control two horses, our emotions and appetites. Similarly, many religions speak of a battle between our higher self and our fleshly desires. A common saying is, "The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak," highlighting how we might know the right thing to do spiritually, yet our bodily cravings are hard to resist. One frequent inner clash is between feelings and logic, your heart versus your mind. Have you ever felt drawn to something that your brain told you was a bad idea? For example, you might feel emotionally attached to a person or a habit that you know is not good for you. The heart says, "But I want it," while the mind warns, "You will regret it." In psychology, this is sometimes described as System 1 versus System 2 thinking. System 1, heart, is fast, instinctive, and emotional. System 2, mind, is slower, more deliberative, and logical. System 1 can trigger quick reactions, while System 2 carefully analyzes big decisions. Trouble comes when they disagree on a course of action. Intense emotions can sometimes flood our rational thinking. Neuroscientists describe something called an amygdala hijack. The amygdala is the part of the brain that triggers strong emotions, like fear or anger, in an amygdala hijack. Your emotional brain temporarily overpowers your frontal lobes, the rational part, leading to impulsive, irrational reactions. That's why you might do or say something in anger that you later regret. Here, your heart had taken over the wheel in that moment. Pure emotion, without reason, can get us in trouble, but ignoring feelings and listening only to cold logic can make life empty or strained. The goal is to balance the two. Emotional intelligence means pausing when emotions flare and letting your mind catch up. By valuing feelings but not being ruled by them, you make better decisions and treat others better. This balance improves our relationships too. Studies show managing our emotions helps us understand others. Think of it as letting the heart and mind work together as a team rather than as opponents. Body versus soul. Another internal struggle is between what our body wants now and what our soul or conscience knows is better in the long run. This is basically short-term pleasure versus long-term well-being. Have you ever indulged in something, food, laziness, a vice, even though you knew it went against your health or principles? That is the flesh versus spirit conflict playing out. Our bodies and emotions tend to seek immediate gratification. Eating a delicious cake or skipping a workout to relax give quick relief or pleasure. The brain chemical dopamine rewards us for these quick pleasures with a brief feel-good spike. However, the dopamine-driven high is short-lived. You enjoy it, then it drops, and often you crave more. In contrast, our soul or higher self is concerned with long-term happiness and moral fulfillment, which are linked to more stable feelings of well-being, often associated with serotonin, a brain chemical tied to happiness and calm. Doing the right thing or working toward a big goal might not be fun in the moment, but it brings deeper satisfaction later. Modern life often tips the scales toward instant gratification. We can get food, entertainment, or comfort at the push of a button. It is very easy to give the body what it wants and silence the soul's quieter voice. But if we live only for immediate dopamine hits, we may end up less happy overall. As one researcher put it, the more pleasure you seek, the more unhappy you get. Chasing quick highs can lead to addiction, burnout, or a sense of emptiness once the rush fades. Meanwhile, neglecting long-term needs like health, learning, or integrity can hurt us down the road. The key is, again, balance. Enjoying life's pleasures is important. Sure, we are not robots, but we have to keep our higher goals in sight. Your body's voice might be loud, "I want this now," but your soul's voice often whispers wisdom. Think of the bigger picture. Developing patience and self-control helps the soul win more often. It might mean delaying a reward. For example, resisting the urge to procrastinate or indulging a craving only after you have finished a task. These little wins for your higher self strengthen it. Over time, these choices become easier, and they bring a sense of fulfillment that no quick fix can match. The brain's two sides, left and right. Did you know your brain has an internal balance of its own? The left and right hemispheres of the brain have different strengths and can sometimes conflict or complement each other. In general, the left hemisphere is associated with language, analytical thinking, and logic. It is the part that loves facts and details. A declassified CIA report on brain function describes the left brain as the self-cognitive, verbal, and linear reasoning side that analyzes and categorizes incoming information. The right hemisphere is more about big-picture thinking, imagination, and intuition. The same report says the right brain is holistic, nonverbal, and pattern-oriented, and tends to accept information without critical analysis. We obviously use both sides of our brain in everyday life, and they usually work together seamlessly. But an imbalance can affect our decisions. If someone relies too much on right brain instinct and emotion without left brain logic, they might make rash decisions or believe things too easily because they are not questioning or analyzing. On the flip side, being too left-brained, overly analytical and skeptical, might make a person indecisive or closed off to creativity and empathy. Ideally, for good decision-making, we want both hemispheres in sync, intuition guided by reason. Interestingly, the CIA's gateway process experiments in the 1918s tried to actually synchronize the two hemispheres for enhanced mental abilities. The idea was that if both halves of the brain can operate in unison through meditation techniques and specialized sounds, a person might tap into extraordinary cognitive and intuitive powers. Whether or not those extreme claims are true, the concept reinforces a real point. Integrating our logical and intuitive sides can make us more effective and balanced individuals. Next time you face a problem, try using your whole brain. Analyze the facts, left brain, but also pay attention to your gut feeling, right brain, when logic checks out and it feels right too. You have likely made a sound decision. Our internal struggles have a new playground, the digital world. Modern technology has made it easier than ever to seek comfort and avoid discomfort at all times. Think about it. Whenever you feel bored or stressed, how tempting is it to pull out your phone and get lost in endless scrolling or videos? We have a constant stream of entertainment and social media engineered to give us quick hits of pleasure. Each notification or like can trigger a little burst of dopamine in the brain's reward circuit, encouraging us to keep checking and scrolling. The result is that we can become hooked on these instant rewards. This constant availability of quick pleasure makes it harder for the rational mind and long-term goals to win. For example, you might sit down to work, mind and soul are on board to be productive, but then you feel a bit of mental resistance. It is slightly uncomfortable to focus. In that moment, the body or heart says, "Let's take a break and watch something fun." So you open YouTube or social media because it is easier than concentrating on work. Psychologists have observed that when we encounter an obstacle or tough task, many of us immediately seek out something enjoyable and easy as an escape. In the short run, giving in feels good, but in the long run, it often leaves us more stressed or unaccomplished. Technology isn't evil, but it amplifies the challenge of self-control. We have to be extra mindful now of how we spend our time and what part of us is in charge. Are we picking up the phone out of true need or because our impulsive side wants stimulation? Being aware of this dynamic can help us set healthy limits with our digital devices so that we, our mind and soul, decide when to engage rather than our impulses. In the age of modern tech, practicing discipline and mindfulness is more important than ever to keep the dopamine-driven temptations from derailing our deeper ambitions. One amazing ability of the human mind is that we can think about our own thinking. This self-awareness is what allows us to step back and make sense of what's happening inside. Psychologists call it metacognition. It's like having an internal observer that can watch your body, heart, and mind in action. For example, you might notice, I have an urge to eat cake right now, and I also feel guilty at the same time. The very act of noticing your thoughts and feelings means you are not totally controlled by them. There is a you outside these impulses that can analyze and intervene. This capacity to reflect on ourselves is part of what makes us human and is crucial for self-improvement. As one neuroscientist noted, our ability to think about our thoughts is central to how we learn and grow. By cultivating this reflective mindset, we can catch ourselves in internal conflicts and gently steer things in a better direction. If you realize I'm about to make this decision just because I'm angry or craving comfort, that awareness gives you the chance to pause and reconsider instead of acting blindly. It is like hitting the brakes on a potential impulsive action once you become aware of it. The good news is, You can strengthen this self-awareness through practices like mindfulness meditation, journaling, or simply taking a moment each day to check in with yourself. Over time, you will find that you can observe an emotion or craving without immediately obeying it. You become more of a conscious driver of your actions rather than a passenger. This does not mean the inner conflicts disappear, but when they arise, you have that extra layer of control, a moment of choice. And in that moment lies the opportunity to align your actions with your true intentions and values. Uniting the inner team. So, how do we get these different parts of ourselves to work together instead of against each other? There is no magic switch, but there are habits and practices that can strengthen our inner harmony. Consider these strategies. Practice mindfulness and self-awareness. Regularly take a step back and observe your thoughts and feelings. This could be through meditation or just a quiet moment of reflection. The more you notice what your body, heart, mind, and soul are each saying, the easier it becomes to make conscious choices rather than being pulled in every direction. Build your willpower muscle. Try embracing a bit of discomfort on purpose. Maybe delay that dessert until after dinner or finish your task before playing a game. By not giving in to every impulse immediately, you train your brain that you are in charge. Over time, it gets easier to resist temptations because you have proven to yourself that you can. Engage both logic and intuition. When making decisions, use your whole brain. Write down the pros and cons, logical left brain, but also check in with your gut feeling, intuitive right brain. If they conflict, investigate why. Getting these two aspects to collaborate leads to wiser choices. Stay true to your values. Keep your core values and spiritual beliefs front and center. When you regularly reflect on what kind of person you want to be, it guides all parts of you. Having a clear guiding star, a vision of your best self, makes it much easier to decide inner conflicts in your favor. Remember, no one can perfectly balance all these all the time, and that is okay. The goal is to gradually become more integrated. Each small victory, like turning down an unnecessary impulse or sticking with a tough challenge, strengthens your inner alignment. Over time, your body learns to cooperate with your mind, your heart trusts your soul's guidance, and so on. Becoming a superior being. The battle within, between body, heart, mind, and soul, is something we all experience. The fact that we can even observe this battle means we have the ability to influence its outcome. We are not slaves to our impulses or emotions. We have the capacity to change our habits, change our thoughts, and grow. By practicing self-improvement, critical thinking, and spiritual awareness, we gradually bring these forces into balance and take charge of our lives. When your instincts, feelings, thoughts, and values line up, you make choices that feel good now and later. You become, in effect, a superior being, not above others, but above your old self. It is not easy or overnight, but every effort you put in pays off. You will handle stress better, improve your relationships, and achieve goals that once felt out of reach. So the next time you feel that internal conflict, pause and listen. Recognize those voices within you. Then respond in a way that your future self will thank you for. By consistently doing this, you're on the path to true self-mastery. In a world where many people operate on autopilot, being self-aware and in control is truly revolutionary. Victory in the war within, mastering yourself, is what makes someone a truly superior being.